Hello and welcome back to Radiant Dawn 0% Growths. We are on chapter 312. Last chapter, Ike was the MVP, not surprising at all considering how many enemies he cleared out on enemy phase. This chapter, we are unfortunately back with the Dawn Brigade, and further unfortunately, there's no Black Knight here to bail us out, but we do get the return of Torneo for the first time since he was destroying everything in sight in 161 and 162. Of course, at this point in the game, he's not nearly as strong as he was then, but he is still the key unit for this chapter at least. And you may notice that he's looking a little bit different from last time because he has been promoted. So there's 5 Master Crowns in the game, and 3 of them I've already given out. 1 to Har, 1 to Joffrey, and 1 to Mia. And the other 2 are both actually with the Dawn Brigade, which means that the Grail Mercenaries don't even get access to them until the beginning of Part 4. Of the units that we might want to use a Master Crown on, or I guess what I should say is of the units we might want to get to Tier 3 at all, Oscar and Sigrun are both ready to promote immediately going into 3E, which is the next Grail Mercenaries chapter. Tanith is level 18, so she basically needs 1 level during 3E to be able to be ready to promote at the beginning of Part 4, because she can go from like level 18 with 99 XP to level 20 with 0 XP, so it's like, you know, she needs to get 101 experience, basically 1 level. And that should be pretty easy in 3E, considering that it's another just fighting chapter where you have to just kill a bunch of enemies. So after that, there's nobody who's particularly close to promotion, and so we'd be looking at characters who would just have at least hit level 10 and seem the most useful, which would probably be Kiran and Gatry for the last 2 Master Crowns, if we weren't going to give one to Torneo here. And considered from that perspective, well, Gatry in particular is a little bit better than Torneo, but not much. He's got a little bit more strength, defense, and HP, a little less res, and they've got the same speed. So, I mean, Gatry definitely has the better stats, but the difference is pretty marginal, and I mean, having neither of them promoted in Part 4 probably wouldn't be a huge loss, while having Torneo promoted for this chapter is incredibly beneficial. So I think it turns out to be a pretty easy call. In fact, I would say that having gone through this thought process, I think the promotion of Joffrey and Torneo in 0% growths at least is just a slam dunk. Like, I don't think there's really any question that that's the way to go, which I didn't kind of figure out when I was considering whether to promote Joffrey, but I think I hadn't realized how far I would get with the Paragon scrolls and leveling up to promotion relative to the timing of getting access to the Master Crowns. In any case, so that's one thing that we've done to set ourselves up for success with Torneo in this chapter. The other thing is I gave him a Speedwing, and that's much less obviously a good idea, just because there's definitely use that we can get out of a Speedwing later in the game. But there's a lot of enemies in this chapter with exactly 20 speed, and having Torneo able to double them is really, really valuable. There are other ways for him to double attack them. He can use the Brave Axe, but that does compromise his attack power relative to using like the Steel Axe Forge or even the Silver Axe, which both have more might, and thus there is a lot of enemies that if he's not doubling them with the Brave Axe, that he's not killing. He needs to generally will like 3-hit KO with the Brave Axe. And then the other way that he can do it is with Resolve, which I did put back on him. Of course, he started with that originally, but we'd taken it off. But the problem with Resolve is that getting him into Resolve range in time for him to not basically get boxed in by enemies he isn't killing because he isn't doubling them because he wasn't in Resolve range yet can be a problem. And then The other thing, you know, is that he can just die. Especially if you have to have him starting in resolve range at the beginning of an enemy phase in order for him to kill, like, the first couple of enemies that attack him, then it's very easy for him to die, because he's not dodgy enough to just avoid all the attacks once he's in resolve range. So, I think it, like, there are some enemies he needs to be in resolve range to double, but not that many. So it's a pretty nice balance this way with him having the speed wing. We'll see how sad I am not to have it later, but I do think it saves multiple turns, or at least the combination of the speedwing and the promotion, I think, save multiple turns in this chapter, at least relative to an even semi-reliable clear, which I think is the most generous description I could give for what I'm trying to do. And I imagine that there might be a way to clear the chapters quickly without those investments through resolve and like full-blown RNG manipulation, but I don't know. It seems like a really low percentage chance to work. Other than that, the only things I wanted to mention are Wrath is back on Zahark because he's not really enemy phasing this chapter much. So on the one hand, that means he can afford to take the risk, and on the other hand, it means he probably won't get to take advantage of the skill because he won't be taking damage much, if at all. And then I got Soth a Silver Dagger, which is notable because he doesn't have access to steel forges. We don't have access to the forge at all right now, but also because, like, you can't forge... I don't know if you can forge steel knives at all, but you certainly can't at the end of part 1. But the Silver Dagger increases his effective attack value by 4 over the... Sorry, the Silver Dagger increases his attack value by 4 over the Steel Dagger and 5 over the Forged Knives, which is pretty nice. And then, I also got him a second Beast Killer. I already had one. I probably don't need to, but I figured I might as well be sure that I wasn't going to run out. And in a sort of similar vein of better safe than sorry, I got Nolan Detox, which is a crossbow that has 2 might and 10 crit more than a standard crossbow. Same hit rate. I don't care about the crit. The extra 2 might isn't going to matter if he's dealing bonus damage to flyers, but it could matter for some non-flyer enemy that we need him to do some chip damage to next chapter. Or not. Maybe it's just a waste of money. We'll see. Alright, so here we are on chapter 312. It is, like 3.6, a semi-route or pseudo-route where we have to defeat a large number of enemies, but not all of the enemies on the map. We've got also the return of yet more yellow units. I mean, we've seen this quite a few times, but this is definitely the most extreme case of it, where the yellow units substantially outnumber our own, and there's just more of them than we've seen in any other chapter. You know, as always, the AI is dumb, but the problems with the yellow units extend further than that because the map is very congested. There's these 2 ledges over here, which are basically like a bottleneck that doesn't really ever get resolved. And then there's this area down here where pretty much all of the other fighting takes place that can just get completely clogged up with a combination of like enemies and yellow units because, you know, nobody is one-rounding anybody, basically, and can make it very difficult to advance and to actually defeat enemies. And then, yeah, well, so managing that and trying to work around that problem is a big part of playing this chapter. And then the other thing is, I guess, the rocks. The rocks are basically like a cutscene almost, where they all get pushed on turn 1. They deal 10 damage to all the same enemies every single time, and it just basically is just a way of changing the initial conditions. It's not really like a strategic consideration. Otherwise, the damage does matter in terms of like our ability to kill certain enemies efficiently, but it's always there, so it's not like we have to worry about it ever not being the case. Yeah, alright. I guess I can go ahead and get started. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to bring Tornado over this way. I think it's typically the case that people send Tornado down the ledge. I certainly have done that myself when playing this chapter, but we need Tornado over on the right side as soon as possible here because everybody else is weak, and he's the only one who's capable of one-rounding enemies from, you know, full health, or at least from full health minus the 10 damage they took from the rocks. So we're going to bring him over, rescue him with Fiona, and then Fiona's going to hand him to Jill next turn. Meanwhile, we're going to have Volug come down here and use some Olivia Grass and put himself in support range of Zahark, who's going to attack this guy with the Brave Sword. Okay, so yeah, that actually, Zahark killing that guy is actually one of the things I'm looking for early in this chapter to think that I have like a reasonable chance of actually clearing it in the time that I want to be able to clear it. And the reason for that is that guy, if Zahark doesn't kill him, these two, like if Zahark just deals 20 damage instead of 40, you know, or 30, then these two can finish him off, but their hit rates are pretty poor, so like they're definitely not guaranteed to do so. And if he doesn't get finished off, he'll run away for healing, and then he's like, the warriors generally have the highest damage output, which means of the enemies. I mean, which means that it does noticeably increase the risk of Tornado dying on a subsequent enemy phase once he heals up and then comes back. So getting him out of the way is definitely helpful. We're also putting Laura here, even though we don't need to heal Zahark after that, just to trade the sword. But it's worth noting that if this guy was still alive, we would specifically want Laura here to block this guy with the short spear from attacking from this square, because we need him to be on this square so that the enemies can't like flow through to our back line. Now, as it is, he would go to this square anyway, because that's the only place he can reach like these two enemies to attack. But anyway, so after that, we're going to bring Soth over here and Jill over here, and the idea here is that Fiona moves 8 squares to the right next turn to where Soth is, gives Tornado to Jill, and then Jill goes and drops him off and sets him up for enemy phase. The reason we want Soth here is so that the yellow units don't stand here and block Fiona's access to Jill. And then after that, we're going to have Micaiah come over and begin the Leonardo shove train. We're going to shove him 4 times, because he and Nolan are going over to the left side to fight Falcon Knights that are going to be flying up from the bottom of the cliff. And Leonardo wants to be able to get to this spot next turn. I'll talk about why when we get to next turn, but that's why we wanted to shove him 4 times, just so he could get that far. I mentioned the warrior running away from healing. In general, enemies and yellow units alike will run away for healing in this chapter, and the effects of that are pretty important in terms of figuring out like how to navigate it. Particularly the fact that the yellow units will do it, because it means that they'll vacate, you know, their spots in some cases in order to run away for healing, and it also means that they might not like go for a kill. Generally speaking, the 2 wyverns will go for kills if they can over healing, because they have Canto, and they like, I think, you know, the reasoning is they can kill and then go for healing. But the other units, I think, will generally prioritize healing if they decide they want to be healed over even like securing a kill. So that can be problematic, but it can also be useful. The enemies running away for healing is mostly just bad. But it's something to pay attention to in terms of making sure that you know which enemies to target on player phase. Like, enemies on low health are generally better targets for that reason. Oh, there's another thing I didn't mention, but oh, actually this is okay. So I mentioned things I was looking for earlier. One of the things I'm looking for earlier is for that sniper not to take damage. I'll explain why on player phase, but that's not a good sign. And then, okay, so that Falcon Knight taking damage there is another thing that's important. So let's talk about that, I guess. Okay, so I mentioned wanting Leonardo to get to this square. The reason I want Leonardo to get to this square is because he can end up surrounded by the yellow units from this square and thus protected from both this Falcon Knight and the two Falcon Knights down here. And like this one, for example, can attack all the way to like this square. So like he can't just like stand here. And this one can attack all the way back to this square. Now he can run back to here and be safe, but obviously that puts him pretty far away because these two are going to run this way. You know, Fiona's not going to be here. They're not going to want to attack Nolan because he's got the crossbow. So these two are going to end up like over here somewhere. And as a result, like, if Leonardo has to run back this way, then we have to, like, shove him again to get him into position, you know, to come back across and attack the Falcon Knights. So it's really nice to have him be able to, like, stand in here. The problem is that because this guy took damage, that doesn't actually work. And the reason is, so these four will not move. This guy, for whatever reason, like, starts here and then moves over here and then never moves again. But in any case, this guy will attack the Falcon Knight, and then these two Armor Knights will move to the left. This one will just get to here, this one will go to here and attack the Falcon Knight. If the Falcon Knight dies, then it doesn't really matter too much where Leonardo is, because he'll be safe. So I shouldn't say it doesn't matter where he is, but it doesn't matter where the other yellow units are. He'll be safe here, like, from this position, because these two just can't reach him. But if the Falcon Knight doesn't die, then this Bishop will move this direction to heal this guy who will have taken counterattack damage from the Falcon Knight. And if Leonardo's standing here, that means he'll move to here and heal the Armor Knight. Except if this guy takes damage. If this guy takes damage, he will instead, if Leonardo is standing here, he will instead move to here and heal the sniper. Which means that Leonardo will be exposed if the Falcon Knight is alive, and the Falcon Knight will kill him. Which is why I don't want this guy to take damage. On the other hand, the fact that this guy hit the Falcon Knight means it is at least possible that the Falcon Knight will die on ally phase, which is good. But the combination of this guy and this guy, or sorry, these two, can easily miss one of their attacks and then leave the Falcon Knight alive. Which is why I'm not going to take the risk of that. Although I will say, like, if this Falcon Knight lives. So one of the reasons I want Leonardo to be here, even if this Falcon Knight is alive, is because he can end up like killing one of the Falcon Knights while still surrounded by the yellow units. And that's important because ultimately Nolan and Leonardo need to get over here by the end of the chapter, because there are two more Falcon Knight reinforcements that come in that we really want to be able to kill, because it significantly reduces, or it significantly increases, rather, the margin of error over here. Like, if we don't get all of the Falcon Knight kills, then it's a lot more likely that we, like, end up with, like, one or two enemies remaining when we want to have cleared the chapter. So, all that having been said, the fact that this guy took damage means that we are going to retreat back to here with Leonardo, because, unfortunately, like, we can't guarantee that this Falcon Knight is going to die, so we're just going to have to hope that it does, but wait and see, rather than assuming that it will. Alright, next up, let's look at what's going on down here. So, these two are both injured, and they're going to run away for healing. We're going to drop Tornado here. We're going to have Soth here, and that's going to be our front line. These two being uninjured means they're going to go for kills on these two enemies because they like securing kills. But it means that they might not Canto like back up here or over here, which they otherwise will tend to do if they have taken some damage. The situation is that I don't, like, we have a physics staff on Laura. We can use that with both Micaiah and Laura, but I don't think, well, I know that we don't want to, so all I'm going to do with Micaiah is move her into position to support Soth, who is then going to come down here and attack this guy. It's actually the only guy he can reach. Typically, that front halberdier is dead. One of the enemies missed him, I guess. I didn't actually notice that, but this guy usually dies on enemy phase, so there'd be like another guy here that Soth could attack. But whatever. We'll then trade him his silver dagger with Laura, getting her out of the way of where we need to drop Torneo. And for similar reasons, we need Zahark to move over. I did mention the enemies running away for healing, but these guys that I'm chipping with Soth and Zahark aren't quite at the point where they would run away for healing. And even though Tornado doesn't need them to be more damage to kill them, but like a few of them will not end up attacking Tornado, so like getting the chip damage in makes it a little bit more likely that we can kill them efficiently on a later turn if they're the ones who are still hanging around. Anyway, Volug is going to use some Olivia Grass again to be ready to go next turn. Fiona is going to come over here and give Tornado to Jill and rescue this Bishop. And the reason we're doing that is because we don't want the Bishop to heal one of these guys and cause them to stay where they are. We want them to run away. And then we're going to drop Tornado off. And keep Jill where she is so that the yellow units don't occupy this square, which will just make things harder for us. And then, there is a possibility that this Bishop will run over to the right here to heal one of these guys. Well, I think it has to be this guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. So basically, from this square or this square, we could count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This guy has 9 physic range. So we're going to kind of cut him off we're going to, first of all, put Nolan here. That means he can't move 6 tiles in this row. And then if he moves to here, which he will be able to do because these two will move to the left, then he would be able to reach this spot for healing. So we're going to bring Meg down here and block that. And we're also going to take the Bishop from Fiona so that she can do rescue drop stuff next turn, if we need her to, which is fairly likely. Finally, we are probably going to need to shove Leonardo. Well, I guess I should say hopefully need to shove Leonardo next turn, because it's contingent on this Falcon Knight dying, realistically. Edward will probably be sufficient to do that, but just in case he is not, I would like to leave Aaron in range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, I'm going to put him over here because I wanted him to be in range to shove, but at the same time I also want him able to do rescue drop stuff in the bottom if he doesn't need to do that. And he is actually like relatively good at rescue dropping the yellow units, which is nice. Okay, so Falcon Knight may yet die. Okay, that's really good. So the problem of that one sniper taking damage didn't actually turn out to be a problem. Like, nah, yeah, we have to shove Leonardo this turn, but that's not a big deal. The Falcon Knight dying is definitely more important. Okay, so actually both of the Wyverns are hanging out down here, which is not what I would have expected to happen, but could actually be pretty helpful. So, like, a lot of times what happens with the Wyverns is, like, one of them ends up somewhere out in front of Torneo, and then they get surrounded, and then there's some enemies, like, when I say in front, I guess I mean below, like, south of Torneo. But the point is, like, in general, we want Torneo to advance, like, south and then west. And, like, sometimes the enemies that are surrounding, like, one of the Wyverns will get in the way. But the fact that they're over to the right means that we can just move past them, which is actually pretty convenient. So hopefully... yeah, hopefully, like, that will, you know, we'll be able to move past them, like I said, and then hopefully, like, we can continue to use them to distract a few enemies and increase Torneo's effective durability. Because we want him to engage, like, we sort of want him to engage as many enemies on enemy face as possible, yet at the same time there's some risk that he dies that we have to account for. Anyway, I am going to create a save state here. And the reason is that one of the things that makes this clear unreliable, we need Nolan and Leonardo to hit all of their attacks, and they're by no means guaranteed to do so. So I'm going to start off by just having... actually, I mean, I'm assuming, yeah. This is usually the case, that we need to shove Leonardo at least once to get him into range to make an attack here. I would ideally like not to have to use Aaron, but let's see whether we need to use Aaron or not. Okay, so far so good, but we still need to see whether Nolan hits his attack. It is possible for the yellow units to, like, take out these Falcon Knights themselves, but they're pretty, like, flagrantly incompetent at it. Like, especially if they don't happen to end up, like, right next to or within attack range of these two guys. But in any case, we got the kills, so that's really good. So now we need to figure out what we're going to do with Torneo, and then what we're going to do with our front line here, which we're going to keep it, like, more or less, like, right where it is. So... there are some enemies down here that have 21 speed. This guy's 23. This guy is 21. I think that's actually it. Is it like this guy? No. I thought there was another halberdier that had 21, but specifically a red one. Because there's, like, Crimean and Benyan units, and the Crimeans are white and the Benyan units are red. And anyway, I thought there was another halberdier, but maybe we killed him on enemy phase and I didn't notice. I don't think so, though. Oh, maybe it's another... yeah, it's another warrior, that's right, okay. Who will probably run away for healing, and I probably won't be able to do anything about that, but... anyway, so... we have a couple options here. One option is to use a hand axe, like... you know, like so, and be able to enemy phase this guy and this guy and this guy, except we won't be close enough. But Basically, like, get the ranged attackers dealt with. The problem is that the ranged attackers, the problem is actually not the ranged attackers. The problem is the hand axe is not strong enough to kill, like, most anything else. And the ranged attackers are relatively easy to deal with on player phase. So I don't think we're actually going to seriously consider that. I mean, we could consider it if we wanted to, like, have somebody like Jill come down and trade Torneo a different weapon, but I don't think we're going to want to do that either, because we're probably going to want... So one of the things I try to do, if possible, on this turn is grab one of these generals, well, specifically this one, because it's higher level and has better biorhythm, and drop it on the front line, because it's a lot better at holding the line than, like, Soth or Zahark. Or Volug does fine, but we need more than one character. The point is that requires both Fiona and Jill participate, so having to trade for Tornado's weapon is not great. So then the other alternatives are we kill this guy or we kill this guy. And this guy, on the one hand, if we kill this guy, he's got more than 20 speed, right? So Tornado's not going to double him unless he's in resolve range. Actually, Tornado isn't currently in resolve range. I just realized. So that's a moot point, unless we wanted to use the Brave Axe, which I don't really. So, okay, never mind. Alright, I guess we're just killing the warrior. Now, something else I need to look at is... we're going to need to heal Tornado. If we heal him right now, we've got 18 points of healing, which is exactly enough to heal him back to full. Once we move Tornado, it's going to be harder to heal him, because he's going to be farther away, and we're going to need to get Micaiah and Laura closer. But I think... I think that'll be alright. Like, they can do it from, like, these two spots, and we can get Zahark and Volug out of the way. That should be fine. One other thing I want to look at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so... what we probably want to do with our front line is have it be, like, Volug and the general, like, here and here, and then Soth here. Soth, generally just barely survives a hit from, like, one of the enemies plus this guy with the iron bow. Zahark does not. The difference being Soth has 5 extra HP and 1 extra defense, and that makes the difference. So Soth does have enough damage to kill that guy, and also enough damage to kill that guy. So I think what we want to do is bring Volug over here and kill this guy, and then bring Soth here and kill this guy. If we wanted to be ambitious, we could have Zahark come down and kill this guy, and then, like, rescue him back. But then we wouldn't have somebody, you know, holding this spot. And while we could put Zahark on this spot, then he's pretty likely to die. So I think we'll just have to accept that this guy's going to live. Let me just make sure, though, that I can actually get the general down here where I want him to. So Fiona's here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then Jill can go bump, bump, bump. So, like, Fiona ends up here, Jill goes here, drops here, ends up here. That does look like it all works. I'm gonna go ahead and move Volug down. Uh-huh. Well, that hit rate isn't great, but Volug gets the 77, I mean, but Volug does get 2 swings at it, whereas if Soth misses, that's a lot worse, so... Alright. It would be nice to get Micaiah into range, although, does that actually improve his hit rate? It does. Okay. Well... So we're gonna... We need to put... We can't put Micaiah here, because then that archer can come kill her, so... Yeah, forget it. 91's good enough. Alright. So let's see. We want to use, ideally, this silver axe on this guy, and the reason is because we needed the forge to kill some of the enemies last turn that were in range. But all of these enemies can be one-rounded with the silver axe, and so we can save the forge, which is actually like pretty relevant because it can easily break this chapter otherwise. And this guy here, we would need the forge to run around, but he's not going to be in range to attack Tornado in any case. So, I think... Oh, wait, I mean... 1, 2, 3... Yeah, we can't... Oh, no, we can put Makai here. Yeah, that's right, because we're gonna drop the general here. So I was thinking about... The enemies can't attack over this rock. Well, nobody can attack over the rock. Like, it is not... for whatever reason, because it's a cliff, like, you can't attack from here to here, or vice versa. So Micaiah is safe here if somebody is here, which they will be. So I think we can go here, we can hit this guy. Okay, we didn't actually take damage, so I guess we don't actually need to heal twice. I am going to go ahead and move Laura over here and heal Tornado. And then, yeah, like I said, we want Fiona. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, never mind. Wait, that could be a problem. Okay, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I just realized Jill is where I want Fiona to be, but I can't move Fiona to this spot before Jill moves, which means Jill has to rescue one of these guys. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back, drop off the bishop with Meg. We're gonna have Aaron rescue this sage. And then Jill... We're not going to be able to trade Soth the knife, are we? We can't put Fiona in like one of these two squares because this guy can kill her. As pathetic as that is. I mean, granted, there's a good chance that like some enemy comes up and attacks, you know, Volug or the general or Soth or whatever, and blocks the guy from actually being able to do it. But still, I don't want to take the risk. But what we can do is we can put Jill here and then have Fiona come down here, drop him, and then Kanto to here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The only problem is that we don't get to trade Soth a dagger, or sorry, a knife, which means if this guy attacks him, he doesn't counterattack. But honestly, it doesn't even really matter. This guy is so easy to kill later. It's fine. So, make sure that I'm rescuing the right one. Yeah. That's... Take. Drop. And then, what I've kind of been building towards this turn, is that I'm actually going to put the yellow units on halt. We've got this area taken care of. There's no enemies that like are threatening, you know, Leonardo or Nolan. And we've got like a solid line at the front here, which means we don't need to, or we don't want to have the yellow units like run past the line and compromise our enemy phase by like, you know, reducing the number of attacks that, or the number of enemies that Tornado is going to kill and that sort of thing. So, what I'm actually thinking about doing here is healing this Wyvern. I kind of wasn't really thinking about it before, but, like... enemies are gonna attack it anyway. This guy's gonna run away. This guy is gonna attack something. This guy probably goes after the wyvern. This guy probably... well, tries to kill the wyvern if he can. Let's see, 20... yeah, this guy will double. He does 26 damage. So this guy just straight up kills the wyvern. Although not until the wyvern gets a chance to counterattack. Of course, the attack order matters here, too. Like, maybe this guy doesn't attack the wyvern because, like... you know, some of these guys attack him first. One reason to heal the wyvern would be this guy right here. If he runs away, like, we'll get to next to the wyvern. And I think in general they will attack. Even if they're running away for healing, they'll attack if they have, like, an opening to attack. But then if he, like, runs to here and attacks and kills the wyvern, then the wyvern doesn't kill him. But if we have the heal the wyvern, yeah, I think that is what I want to do. So I'm gonna move Zahark. I want to move Zahark here or here? I think I want to move him here. We get more open space this way. I could even move him here, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, yeah, actually, I guess there's not really. But then again, we don't need this spot open particularly. Yeah, I'll move him here, and then I'm gonna trade. I'd rather have the Laura end the turn with the physics staff because Micaiah may want to attack with the Thani next turn, but can't have everything. Thani. I usually call it Thani. I don't know why I called it Thani. Oh! Alright. He didn't actually run away for healing, which is interesting. Tornado taking no damage there could actually be a bad thing. Like, I kind of want him in resolve range, not just so he's doubling, like, the 1 or 2 enemies that he won't otherwise, but also so that his hit rate goes up. Yeah, he didn't get to double that guy. Oh, he didn't hit the Swordmaster. This is not going very well, actually. Oh, okay, we got into resolve range, so that guy dies. Although, I guess there's nobody else in range anyway. I mean, it's still good that he died, but it didn't make as big a difference as I was thinking. Alright, so down goes the Wyvern. Yeah, we didn't really get a whole lot done with Tornado that turn. Alright, well, up here, we're just gonna go ahead and move Leonardo and Nolan as far left as... actually, not to there, though, because we might... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, actually, we definitely don't want to stand there, because we might need to stand there with Leonardo. The reinforcements are going to show up here and here. Okay. So... let's see here. I don't think we're going to be attacking with Micaiah anyway. Well, I guess it's possible. Probably what we want to do with Tornado is go here. Kill this guy. It'd be nice to kill this guy too, but I don't think... like, this guy can run a lot further away than this guy. If we're standing here, he has to, like, circle around. We might actually get a kill for Jill here. It's not typical, but... yeah, I would definitely go for this one. Although there's also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, she can't get back. But we can potentially have her pick up this kill next turn. I don't know how likely she is to hit this one. 86. That's not so bad. I mean, we're gonna kill this guy for sure. This guy's an easy kill. If we kill enough of the ranged enemies, we can potentially put Zahark safely on the front line. I don't know if we should. Zahark could kill this guy, Zahark could kill this guy. We could rescue Zahark. If we... Can Meg take this guy? Yes. Okay, so Aaron can rescue Zahark, which means we could use Fiona and Aaron to rescue drop him, which means we could send him out, and then bring him back. So that would be pretty nice. So I definitely think Jill kills this guy, and I'm thinking Zahark kills this guy. Volug can kill this guy. Does... Oh, but yeah, well... Let's see. Oh, right. If Tornado's standing here, this guy can't get around to attack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like Soth. So Soth will be safe on the front line so long as we heal him, which means we can put him... Well, it's going to be hard to put Soth here and Volug here. Because, you know... You put Soth here and Volug here. That's a little risky in terms of the number of enemies that can get to Volug. But there won't be any ranged attackers that can get to him, so he'd probably be fine. Like, 31 attack, 31 attack... Yeah, actually, none of the real heavy hitters are over here either. 37. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But he can't get to Volug there. Yeah, actually, that should be completely fine. Alright. I think... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... I want to make sure that Jill is still in range to get to this guy next turn. I don't think that's going to be a problem, because, like, even if he, for whatever reason, ran here... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that should be fine. Let's go ahead and do that. And then Zahark comes down here, kills this guy. Jill's out of the way, which means Soth can step to the side, kill this guy. Bola can go here, and then we have this spot open. We can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or so. 7 maybe, drop him right there, or whatever. I mean, it's... Yeah, we got... I think we got a plan here. We're going to want to drop him in range of Volug. That should be fine. We can drop him here. No, that's not what I wanted. Just in case some ranged enemy can get into position to attack him, which I don't really think they can, but... Okay. And finally... Take that guy out. Oh, now we can use the Tomahawk. Amazing. There's a Tomahawk that you get for this chapter. Tornado doesn't have a high enough axe weapon level to use it. And if you don't promote him, he can't, because his, like, it's an S level weapon and he maxes out at tier 2. And so I guess you're supposed to use it with Nolan, but, like, you're getting to S rank axes by this chapter with Nolan? Like, I don't know about that. Alright, 20 speed. This guy, he won't double without resolve, but that's whatever. I just want to double check that I didn't screw up, but yeah, 15 and 15, 16 and 16, 16 and 16. Yeah, he definitely kills all these guys, no problem. So let's it would be nice to trade Soth. Actually, I guess if we're gonna, yeah, we can do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can trade Physic here, heal Tornado. Just kidding, we can heal Soth. Okay, well, never mind. I was gonna trade Soth his Silver Dagger, but I didn't realize that Laura wasn't in physic range. She should be in physic range. Oh, is this one of those things? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's a 5 minimum range, but it's one of those things where it's like not counting the... It's like counting the cliff weirdly. It does that sometimes, and I don't know what the conditions under which it does that are, but... Oh. Alright, well, I don't need to heal Volag anyway. That's just frickin' great. I needed to heal Tornado before I moved him. Alright, Edward is incapable of doing anything relevant. We'll put him here and he can roll the rock next turn if that somehow seems relevant. It definitely isn't going to be relevant against this guy, so I'm not going to do that. Well, fingers crossed the Tornado lives. If he doesn't live, oh my gosh, if I'd lose this entire run just because of that. Okay, well, that's one miss. Nice of the healer to move first. And not heal anyone. Okay, so one guy who can hit really hard goes after not Tornado, which is also helpful. Okay. I think... Oh, I did not expect him to dodge that guy. Alright. We're probably good now. We're probably good. Swordmaster doesn't hit hard enough to kill him. Oh, definitely good. Alright, let's go. Getting lucky, that's, you know, that's fine. An acceptable way to clear the chapter. Oh, okay. That really scared me. I'm gonna save state again, because we gotta kill these Falcon Knights. Leonardo, you're up first. Nice. $58. Alright, let's go, Nolan! Looking good. 6 enemies remaining. I suppose this would be as good a time as... Oh, 91. I was going to say, as good a time as any to take the risk, given that I had just save stated, but 91 is pretty safe anyway. Alright. We only need to kill 5 enemies. Zahark can surely kill one. Volug can surely kill one. There's like easy kills down here. Soth, if we can get some of these guys out of the way, can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 can kill this guy. Micaiah, can you kill one of these generals? Yes. Very much so. Okay, let's kill the far one. Well, no, because we need to get somebody out of the way. Alright, hold on. Let's figure out... the easiest... Well... This guy is a pretty easy kill for Zahark, but he does have to use the Brave Sword. Wonder... and hit 4 times with it. 80% hit rate. Need to kill 5 enemies. Alright, we can have Tornado kill one of these generals. Micaiah kill another one. I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so we can have Volug go after that guy. Because he can't double this guy. And I don't think he can finish any of the generals. I mean, he does respectable damage, but not quite enough. So, but we got, yeah, I think we're just good here. Like, we have Micaiah kill the one that hits harder, and just in case that matters. So, don't even need to use the strong dagger. Yeah, sometimes this comes down to enemy phase. Okay, so we might want to go after this guy with... Or yellow unit phase, for that matter. We want to... Like, I'm not thrilled with Volug's hit rate down there, and Zahark's support only gives him a void, so... I mean, Zahark can definitely kill this guy. He can Brave Sword this guy. That's close to a guaranteed kill. Oh, he can't actually get to that guy. Alright, he probably wouldn't be able to kill him with the Brave Sword anyway. These guys have enough defense that Zahark's does like 7 times 2 damage kind of thing. Well, so we kind of have the option... I mean, the yellow units will probably be able to clean up if we miss one of these, but basically we can we either really chew up the remaining part of the Brave Sword here and go for this guy, or we do this, or possibly we do this. Because the thing is, even if... Well, I don't like that crit rate on the enemy, though. Yeah, forget it. We'll just go ahead and do this. The Brave Sword has done its job. And finally... Well, he does double the guy, but that's still a pretty low hit rate. That looks good. Bang. Guess I could have healed something with Laura, but it's not like it's important. Okay. And there you have it. Chapter 312 in 5 turns. You have no idea how much of a relief it is to finish that chapter. This clear is super unreliable, not just in the sense of, like, some of the stuff I specifically called out with, like, Nolan and Leonardo, but just, like, the way that the yellow units, like, behave if you need them to, like, clean up kills at the end, the fact that, like, Tornado could easily have died that one turn, and I mean, I should have healed him. obviously. But like even if at full health, like he or close to full health, he can die if you just get unlucky with his dodges. Yeah, the reliability is just not high on this one at all. One thing that I think would make this chapter a lot more fun, and if they ever do a Tellius remake, I would like to see them do, is to let you actually control the yellow army in this chapter. I don't think... This isn't like necessarily a change I would make across the board. I think in general the yellow units work fine the way that they do in most of the chapters, or like are well enough. Like it's, you know, I mean, like for instance, last chapter, like would I have liked to control Tibarn and his Hawks? Absolutely, but like, you know, for people who aren't trying to like LTC, like it's fine. Like they, you know, you can. It's not like a problem, but in this chapter, the thing is, like, you want to leave the yellow units on roam the whole time, because the guys on the left side, you want them to be, like, you know, attacking down the cliffs, and then, like, there's the bishops that you want to be healing, but, like, if you leave them on roam, then all of the yellow units on the right side will, like, you know, potentially get in your way. Oh, I just realized I didn't even call attention to the whole like fact that they group up around Micaiah thing, which they do, and is similar to them grouping up around Ike in 311. But basically, there's like what you want to be able to do with the yellow units in this chapter is halt and or rally the units on the right side, but leave the units on the left side on roam, essentially. And you can't do that. Like, if you tell all the yellow units on the right side, like, go over here, then all the ones on the left side will just leave their position and start heading that way, which is, you know, obviously not what you want at all. I mean, granted, if you have Tornado on the ledge, like, maybe it's not so big of a problem, but still, I really think that... I just think it'd be more fun if, like, basically, you know, if it worked like Advance Wars, where you could basically control two armies on 2 different turns. And it would also just be an interesting thing to have, like, essentially, like, disposable army, where it's, like, it's not any permanent characters or anything, it's just, like, some units you're controlling for the particular chapter, and, like, you know, so you don't feel like it's such a big deal if you lose one of them, or if you take a risk with one of them, that sort of thing. Anyway, that's all tangential to the main point of, you know, actually playing and completing the chapter. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I will be back next time with 313, our final Dawn Brigade chapter of the game. So until then.